news for Dublin is that all-star wing forward Danny Sutcliffe has recovered from a hand injury and is back on the starting 15. His availability means Colm Cronin transfers to the corner, where he'll join David O'Callaghan and Conall Keaney. It's a big day for goalkeeper Alan Nolan, who plays in his very first Leinster final. For Kilkenny, goalkeeper David Herity regains the number 1 jersey, although the injured Owen Murphy is thankfully well enough to take his place on the bench. Walter Walsh gets a late call-up to wing forward, with Pádraig Walsh at 11 and the man of the moment, TJ Reid, completing a very strong half-forward line. The Leinster Hurling final 2014 is underway. Dublin won the toss, playing from right to left, facing into Hill 16. Shane Durkin, TJ Ryan laying it off. There's a chance coming through here for Richie Hogan, and that is over the bar. First score of the match.
And Marty, just looking at the way Kilkenny have lined up, Pádraig Walsh has gone to right half forward. Colin Fennelly, who was such an outstanding success at centre forward during the league, has gone to centre forward, and Walter Walsh gone in the right corner, and Paul Schutte. Kilkenny have done this over the years. They earmark somebody, maybe Schutte. Walter Walsh's height advantage over Paul Schutte is something they've looked at there. So again, typical Kilkenny, thinking about the opponents that and trying to force mismatches.
John Power, 45 metres out, giving it a go, and it's a successful one. Really good score by John Power. He played well in the Allianz League against Dublin. Part of the reason why he's selected here in the first 15. Michael Clark never took his eye off the ball and sends it back. 1 against 1. David Herity comes off his goal line. Gets a touch. Referee is after blowing his whistle, I would suggest, and he's giving a penalty. Difficult to hear initially with the crowd here, but Barry Kelly from way out the field signalled that was a penalty.
Yeah, I think he's right, Marty. We'll probably see it better in the replay here, but if you look at Brian Hogan there, it was actually after the ball he pulls down Datsy O'Callaghan. David Herity had batted the ball away, so, but you can see there the arm around the neck, and very hard to argue with that decision.
Conall Keaney, well inside the arc, has to hit it on the 20, and he puts it over the bar for his first score of the match.
Strange, Marty, he didn't go for it. He put it over the bar. There was no attempt to go for it. He obviously wanted to settle the team down early in the game. Maybe not a bad idea. 7.5 minutes gone, and you have to get your first score to get you going.
Long ball. John Power knocking it down to Colin Fennelly, and Nolan, brilliant save. First touch for the Dublin keeper, and he stood his ground firmly.
And that'll do Alan Nolan's confidence the world of good. It was a lovely height from him, but still good save early in the game. It was straight at him, and Colin Fennelly really should have done better. He should have put it away into the corner. He had lots of time.
A little bit of a push that went unpunished or unnoticed by the referee. TJ Reid, however, has the slipper, gets away rather easily from the challenge, and that is a beautiful strike. Look at the skill of TJ Reid here.
Yeah, fantastic skill, and look at the composure as well, Marty. Took his time, waited until he got away from his man and over the bar. And Kilkenny look very comfortable dealing with the Dublin threat so far. They've dropped the man back. Jackie Turrell is the loose man now, and JJ Lenny has picked up Conall Keaney. Joey Holden has picked up Alan McCrabb, and obviously Kilkenny were expecting this and have their homework done.
Out comes Alan McCrabb, Conall Keaney. Joey Holden losing out to McCrabb on this occasion. The hand pass comes back out for his Datsy O'Callaghan. Sending it in low. First chance here for Colm Cronin. Bearing down on the 13. What can he do? Herity can't stop it. Goal for Dublin. Colm Cronin from Coola has given the Dublin supporters a new lease of life and self-belief.
Yeah, Marty, Datsy did very well there. Lovely ball in front of Colm Cronin, who got away from Jackie Turrell. And he did very well, broke the tackle, and a lovely little finish into the corner. Super goal by Colm Cronin.
John McCaffrey putting in the hard work. Brian Hogan is the player that delivers the long ball. Here comes Walter Walsh, trying to get away from Paul Schutte. Walsh floats this in, and it's over the bar. Good score by Walter Walsh. And his presence, physical presence, is posing a problem for Paul Schutte. Great catch by Liam Rush. Sends it down that middle channel again. Breaking onto it is the goal scorer, Colm Cronin. And this is going straight between the posts. Colm Cronin is emerging from the shadows of Players like Conall Keaney and indeed Dotsie O'Callaghan. He's touched the ball twice, scored 1-1. Corey Walsh, good use of the hand pass to Brian Hogan. He's giving it everything. Alan Nolan has to backtrack, and that's a wonderful point by Brian Hogan. It's not every day of the week that we see it. 33 years of age on the 14th of August, he still has the class. Hogan to Hogan. Brian to Ritchie. Walter Walsh to Porrig Walsh. No relation, but they certainly understand each other.
Yeah, that's great teamwork again, but Dublin have to get a grip now. Martin Kilkenny running, pulling away from them. Great ball in front of Walter Walsh from Richie Hogan, and that's a huge change in Kilkenny hurling this year. They're picking out a man every single time. The long ball into hit and hope is gone, and they've changed their formation. A lot more movement in the forward line, and scores like that coming off it.
Stephen Heine, here's the call, but again just a little bit slow. Conor McCormick, he got there, and when he arrived, he might have been on the late bus, but he did score. Good score by Conor McCormick.
They're still well in this game to get a goal right back into it.
Niall McMurrough in towards the corner. Paul Ryan should prevent it. Nice ball inside. There's a chance for Cronin. Good save. And the ball rebounds to Jackie Tyrrell.
Watch this for a hand pass by Paul Ryan. Unbelievable vision. Last 20 minutes now, or 17 minutes. Dublin, maybe with the legs. Kilkenny had 2 tough matches the last 2 weeks, and will that be a factor?
It's tenacious, it's passionate, it's determination. And right now it's Colin Fennelly laying it off to John Power, just a touch. What a save on the line. That one's it's still there, and Alan Nolan is heroic. Oh my word. We have seen some wonderful goalkeeping in Brazil, but you have Alan Nolan doing acrobatic cat-like saves here. First it was Colin Fennelly, just a touch from John Power. Somehow there was a touch.
I think it was off the post, was it?
Was it off the post? But he was there again.
If you watch it here, watch John Power. No, he got a touch, a brilliant overhead flick, as you say. John Power went to flick it into what he thought was an empty net. And great defending by Dublin.
So 10 out of 10 for the goalkeeper. Aidan Fogarty. TJ Reid. That is on its way. And guess who it is? Henry Shefflin, introduced as a sub, just like Aidan Fogarty a moment ago, and both substitutions end up with a point each.
Yeah, super teamwork there. Aidan Fogarty out to TJ Reid, and we've seen that hundreds of times at this stage now. Great score by Henry Shefflin.
Kilkenny are once again Leinster champions. Henry Shefflin commiserates with Liam Rush. Anthony Daly congratulates Brian Cody. So Kilkenny win their 69th Leinster title. Full-time score here in Croke Park. Kilkenny 24 points. Dublin won 9 before a crowd of 32,567.
It was a good win, Leinster final, like I said. The scoreline was generous to us in the end. There was a period there in the second half when we were under a lot of pressure. Dublin really came at it strongly, but we defended really well. And, we weathered the storm there, and we came on and we finished strongly. So overall, a very, very good display.
We've got to show character now. That's the big thing we have to show. I mean, I believe they're a great bunch of lads, and we didn't play well today. It wasn't a good day at the office, but look, there's another day around the corner now, and we just have to lift it up.
All right, Donloe Cusack and Eddie Brennan are with us. Donloe, that was a great display from Kilkenny. They were much the better team, weren't they?
Yeah, fantastic display. There's a lot of people going into the game would have felt that it was going to be a much tighter game than it turned out, but there was absolutely no question. Kilkenny were by far the better team.
What impressed you most about the Kilkenny performance, Eddie?
I think what they done was they adjusted very quickly to what Dublin were about today. I think they were hungry. They obviously had a little bit of baggage from last year, which is a great motivator in itself. But I think ultimately they were quite sensible. They were cool on the ball. They always looked up. They were obviously well in communication with each other, because with the way Dublin set up, and we look at it in a few minutes, they adjusted to it very, very quickly. And you'd have to say that they got a good platform to start off the match. They got in the match straight away, and they were never really under pressure from the word go.
But that good platform at the start you mentioned, Dublin did have an opportunity. Dublin got the penalty early on. You thought that kind of sent out a signal when they chose to go for a point?
Yeah, I did, Des. I thought that it was Dublin won a penalty. See Michael Carlton standing in a long ball here. There's no question about it being a penalty. Kilkenny defence will probably be disappointed that communication could have been better. But I felt this was an opportunity for Conal Keaney to set the tone of the day and take it on. And I know you could make the argument that if it was saved, it'd be a morale boost to Kilkenny. But I think you're only going to get a certain amount of those chances, and you need to, like, fortune favours the brave would be my attitude there.
Would you go for goal, Eddie?
I think in the circumstances you'd have to, the old Delby line, he who dares wins, you know. And at that stage of the match, it was only 3 or 4 minutes in. There was nothing to be lost. There were 2 points down at that stage of the match. You'd say, look, not really a whole lot to be lost. But you know, it just, as Donal Logue said there, it did send out the message. It did give the message that they weren't going to go for the jugular. Like, I mean, this time last year, 12 months ago, Dublin were attacking everything. They were, you know, they put Kilkenny under fierce pressure. So I think it did. I think it sent a message, you know.
OK, well, to take that a step further then, you felt the Dublin setup maybe didn't give them that platform.
It probably didn't, because what they done was they withdrew Colm Cronin straight away, and that left Kilkenny with a sweeper effectively. And I think there might have been an occasion where this might have caught Kilkenny out, but they were obviously working and planning for this in advance. See Paul Murphy here as the sweeper. He's conscious of the space in front of the goal, and they're obviously in communication. Now, as this play comes to a stop here, you have 2 of them minding the house, you know, 2 more of them coming onto the ball. And by Dublin doing that, I think they put Alan McCrabb as well in around, and Colin Keaney in around the goal. And they're probably 2 fellas they need. And this was, you know, a trait of Dublin's play, is that they were inclined to come out the field rather than take their men on. Colin Keaney and Danny Sutcliffe both being forced back out the field. And this is the big one here. Dotsy Callan picks up the ball 8 or 9 yards from the goal. He has a very good swivel. You'd imagine if he spun around there. Instead, he goes out and gets dispossessed as he's moving away from the Kilkenny goal. And that is any defender's dream, I would say.
And we've been on about this. There's a pattern here. Like, this was one of the instances where Colm Cronin took on the ball. And what that does is it draws other defenders and creates opportunities for other players. We even saw there that Conal Keaney would have been an option. And we've spoken about this a lot now, and it's definitely a pattern within the Dublin forwards, and it's a problem.
Not running at defenders.
Not taking on the defenders is an issue for them.
In fairness, though, the Kilkenny defence need a lot of credit, deserve a lot of credit, Eddie, for the way they managed.
Absolutely. We look at even the stats there, the amount of possession they had, and even in the first half alone, you look at, you know, Jackie Tyrrell found himself in space, a really good, intelligent fella to have in the ball like that. You know, he had, I'd say, a pain in his shoulder pucking out ball at one stage, but they never lunged in on Dublin. They were patient, they waited for the ball to be shown. You know, a great little half block by Jackie Tyrrell. He comes again, he's not content to just do that and admire it. He goes back, wins the ball again. And they never lunged in, which was a big thing with Dublin. They only got 3 frees that they scored in the entire match, which was a good testament. And here's Dotsy Callan coming in, creates a great, but Joey Holden sees the danger, and that is really brave. Jump in there, but reading the play well. And then, you know, at the end of the match, this was Kilkenny at their best. Conor Fogarty there, standing up very, very big to Conal Keaney, who was trying to, you know, burst his way in. And instead of, you know, often and often you can see defenders where they lunge in, and it makes it easy for a forward to go around you then. Your choice is then to pull him down. And Conor Fogarty, you know, a fit, strong fella, stands up very, very strong to that. But all in all, I think by Dublin's system, it allowed Kilkenny to get a foothold in the match. It allowed them to play the ball out of defence. You know, if you were 15 on 15 in that situation, you're going to be putting pressure on the backs, whereas Kilkenny had that luxury of waiting and picking out the right pass. And usually Richie Hogan or Conor Fogarty were coming looking for that pass.
Yeah. Anthony Daly said it wasn't a great performance from Dublin. That was quite clear. I'm sure a lot of them were disappointed. You thought there was one shining light, though, for the Dubs?
Yeah, definitely, Des. I thought Alan Nolan gave a masterclass of goalkeeping, and if you were a young kid, especially a leftover right goalkeeper, you could do a lot worse than look at today, for an example. One of the real interesting things was his starting position and how positive he was. I always encourage young goalkeepers to be positive coming off the line, because the ball is moving towards you and you can often think that you're further away. Here's again is a situation, he's starting very far off his line. That shows to me it's a guy with great confidence. Now, Colin Finlay won't be delighted with the hand pass here, but it was definitely what put him off was Alan Nolan being in such an advanced position.
And this is Colin Finlay now. You know, it's straight down his neck. OK, it's a good save. There's room left or right. He should be a little bit more clinical.
Another example of goalkeeping, great catch under pressure. That's a tough ball for a keeper. And again, there were so many examples of this where he was acting like a sweeper. And in a lot of situations where a lot of teams the forwards are retreating so far out the field, you want that type of stuff. Here, terrific reactions and agility to get back across the goals, not alone to make the first fantastic save. A lot of people actually thought this went off the post, but he saved it and saved it twice. Fantastic performance. And to top it all off, Pádraig Welsh coming through, typical Kilkenny forward, going for the kill. Might have got a break in that it went off his foot, but his performance was outstanding and he deserved that break at the end.
Makes you wonder, Kilkenny could have won by a lot more when you see that.
Yeah, definitely. I think you were looking at a very, very heavy defeat there had he not been in the form he was today.
OK, our man of the match nominees, John Lug.
So the nominees, there's are Alan Nolan, we just spoke about him there, giving a masterclass. Richie Hogan, outstanding again today. I think he made 24 plays, more than any other player on the field. And JJ Delaney, the Kilkenny defence only gave up 10 scores, and there was a lot of good performers there, but I think he epitomised the quality of their defence today.
OK, and the winner, Eddie?
The man of the match, yeah, a lot of people in Kilkenny will probably be a bit disillusioned with this, but we went for St Bridget's Alan Nolan. I thought, as I just said there, I think Dublin were looking at a heavy defeat had it not been for him today. I believe there's a clear influence in his coaching, but you'd have to say he has come in today, his first Leinster final, he has played second fiddle for a while, and he really was the difference between a hell of a tanking today for Dublin. OK then, well, congratulations to Alan. Let's hear from him now.
Alan, incredible performance by yourself today, but I suppose no consolation with the team missing out.
Absolutely zero. Disgusted, to be honest with you. Such a big day. We built ourselves up, and to turn out with that performance is just, it's heartbreaking.
I mean, Anthony Daly said he couldn't put his finger on exactly what it just seemed like, flat from start to finish, and he couldn't really pick out one or two things.
Very flat, and you just have to congratulate Kilkenny. They came with the hunger, they wanted the trophy back, and we gave it up like that. But just, I don't know what happened. It's just everyone's doing the exact same training, recovery, 5 weeks off, 3 weeks on in a row. I think it's just about whoever turns up on the day and produces, and to be honest, Kilkenny produced and we were just left standing.
Well, look, you're going to get another opportunity obviously in the quarter-final, but for the moment you are the Etihad Airways RT man of the match. Beatrice Cosgrove is here to present you with your award. Congratulations.
Cheers. Thanks very much, Beatrice. Cheers.
Well done, Alan. I think he didn't believe he was getting it for a moment. Well done to Kilkenny.